and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner on Wednesday, the 7th of January. My son's birthday, I should be able to remember that. Look, he's in Sri Lanka at the moment on his honeymoon. I hope he's having a great time. I believe he is. This morning, we've got silver and gold racing up again. Silver's back at $80. Gold also pretty strong, not quite at maybe a sort of a milestone mark at the moment, but 44,068 or 4,468. Those are sort of numbers. If you'd said that at the beginning of last year, you'd be going, you're crazy. So the commodities boom has not stopped just because we've turned over the year. And there's a little bit of news out today, so we should probably crack on with that, shouldn't we, Paul?
Yes, that's right, for sure.
Okay, let's whiz through. Let's start with one of the small gold ones that we have a soft spot for, I suppose, but it's been very, very tough for poor Emma Priestley. But Goldstone Resources had an ops update, didn't they, Paul?
Yes, that's right. Operations update for the amount of gold produced for this calendar year of this ended December 31st of 2025. Homasi mine produced 2,912 troy ounces, all of which were sold in the period. They generated about US $10 million in revenue at an average realized price of $3,464 an ounce. That's about $100 an ounce higher than what was the weighted average during the prior period. They had processed about 750,000 tons of ore onto leach pads. They also gave guidance for 2026 that because of the heavy rains, which had diminished both the loading rate and the dilution of the leach fluids during the fourth quarter, they are forecasting for 2026 to have something on the order of 4,000 ounces produced in that year, since they did get pre-stripping done and will produce with the intent of about of 250,000 tons of ore during 2026. All-in sustaining costs for the year out to November were $2,781 an ounce, and they're expecting a similar number for this year.
Okay, sticking on gold, we've also had a production update from Greatland Resources, Paul.
Yes, that's right. Greatland is the copper gold producer that took over the Telfer mine there in Australia, and it is London quoted as well. These are their fourth quarter results ended in December with 86,000 ounces of gold produced and 3,500 tons of copper. That is an improvement of not quite 10% on gold and about 200 tons on copper. So for the full year that they produced in the first half, 167,000 ounces of gold and 6,900 tons of copper. All in sustaining costs, they haven't yet calculated, but they will be released in the December quarterly activities report, which is due under Australian regulatory law rules in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Cash at the period ended 31 December, $950 million. So at these current prices, they're printing about $200 million in profit every quarter.
It's pretty amazing, and it just shows the operational gearing for gold companies, and that's why 2026 is still going to be an incredible bull market for not just gold companies, but commodity markets in general. But these prices, they all print money. I mean, on that point, it's worth noting the Azerbaijan government, I believe today, Paul, has said that they up their state oil fund, rather, bought some more gold as an investment and earn more than 10 billion from their increased investment in gold after a sort of strategic decision. If only the UK government had done the same sort of thing, we wouldn't have a black hole. But Gordon Brown, of course, sold it all right at the bottom of the market. That's what happens when you have a Labour government. Voters should bear that in mind. Don't get me on politics. Right, carrying on, Paul. Do you want to stay on gold and maybe mention Galantas?
Yes, Galantas, what had been the Irish gold tiddler, is actually in this case now to acquire 100% ownership of the Andacola Oro gold project, which is in central Chile. This is a past producing large scale heap leach gold mine, so it's going to be a restart situation for the company. A historic mineral resource estimate of measured and indicated resources was 2 million ounces of gold, but it is very low grade. But it is commercial at large scale, 0.48 grams gold per ton. And there is another 5 million ounces of similar grade in the inferred category. So the intent is to mine at scale on this thing. It had been producing for a 20-year period between 1998 and 2018, where it had produced at a rate of 20,000 tons per day. So Galantas trying to go big in heap leaching.
Yeah. Any other companies you want to quickly mention, Paul?
Yeah, a company I followed for quite a long time. I thought it would give a mention to TSX listed Southern Silver. They have put out some assay results on their drilling underneath the Pearl Corazon workings there on their Mina mine project, Skarn in Mexico. These assays came out with a highlight of 10.5 meters of 1,115 grams per ton silver equivalent. This particular drilling program, they did recently get control of this particular claim on the west side of the intrusion. The Cerro Las Manitas existing skarn resource is quite big, and this was right a claim that was right in the middle of it that they hadn't been able to access before. So this will be once the drilling program is completed, will be added into that skarn resource after the end of Q1. Full assays are received.
Okay, that's probably enough. I'll just wrap up. Obviously, I think some people know I've been down in Cornwall at the start of this year. I will be back in London tomorrow, where it's a lot colder than it is down in Cornwall. It's been beautiful down here. I've obviously been not actually meeting companies, but just meeting private individuals who often know an awful lot more than everybody else. Been fascinating. But if anybody wants to talk about what I've learned about all the Cornish mining industry over the last few days, I'm out again on the road today. Then do obviously contact me directly. And also, whilst saying that, I note that Tungsten West have now tried to put up the shareholder percentages and number of shares on their website. It's obviously extremely complicated. There's A shares, B shares. We need a vote to vote for some of them. There's free shares, you name it. But I think, according to our research, there's probably, just so that people can put it into perspective, about 1.3 billion shares currently in issue. Obviously, the company's been very open about the fact that they hope to bring in new investors in Q1. So that number will actually go up. We obviously don't know what to, but that allows you to obviously make a valuation for the company based off those sort of number of shares. Obviously, with today's tungsten price, which has gone through the absolute roof, if this company was in production, sadly it's not, despite many years of trying to get back into production. But it would be worth, in our estimation, probably more like 20-25p. I know some people are quoting even higher numbers, but I don't think one wants to go too over the top. But just so you're aware, the number of shares is starting to all sort of come out into the public domain. That'll do for now, and I'll be back in London tomorrow. Thanks.
Very good.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.